Coming to you remotely from LA River Studios in Los Angeles, California, this is The River Report.
Hello and welcome to The River Report. I'm your host, Michael Atkins, Communications and Impact Manager here at Friends of Los Angeles River, here to keep you current with the river movement. We hope you've enjoyed our Lower River weekend of Return to the River. This week's episode of Native Narratives featured Alan Salazar, who shared with us the stories of the Chumash people. Ileana led us on a mindful yoga exercise, while Liliana visited the shorebirds and steelhead trout exhibit at the Aquarium of the Pacific. We'll swim even further upstream on this subject as we welcome two guests to today's River Report. First up, we'll swim alongside Wendy Katagi, Senior Manager of Watershed and Ecosystem Restoration Services with Stillwater Science and Project Manager of the Fish Passage, which will turn the LA River back into a trout stream. Then we'll chat with Congress's biggest bird nerd, Representative Jimmy Gomez, to share his love for the LA River and his vision for its future. Today's segment is generously sponsored by Coca-Cola and the American Chemistry Council. Thank you for your continued support of Friends of Los Angeles River. In Finding Feathered Friends, we got up close and personal with the steelhead trout, once an abundant fish found throughout our watershed and food source for its original people. These colorful fish are on the brink of extinction from our region, due in part to the concretization of the LA River. The last steelhead in the LA River was caught off a bridge near Glendale some 80 years ago. Estimates indicate there may be as few as 400 trout that return to Southern California watersheds to spawn. A team of local biologists and engineers are tackling the problem by devising a fish passage and habitat structures to aid the steelhead's journey from the ocean to their ancestral spawning pools in the San Gabriel Mountains. I met with Wendy Katagi, the project manager and true friend of Folar, down at the mouth of the river at Golden Shore Marine Reserve.
I'm Wendy Katagi, and I'm Senior Manager of Watershed and Ecosystem Restoration Services at Stillwater Science.
Wendy, thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm so glad we got to make some time to talk about a really cool project that you're up to at Stillwater Sciences.
Yes, Stillwater Sciences is working on the design and the regulatory strategy for a 4.8-mile steelhead fish passage project through downtown Los Angeles.
What is the fish passage and what are these habitat structures?
The fish passage component is very important because steelhead need to migrate through this area to the headwaters. The habitat structures are boulders, clusters, vegetation, and pools, things that fish need as they're jogging up the stream to meander and to get further given velocities and depth.
And so where exactly will the fish enter and exit this fish passage?
So the 4.8-mile reach starts downstream at the Washington Boulevard Bridge within the city of LA and extends upstream past the Arroyo Seco to the soft bottom transition right at Glendale Narrows.
And why is it significant to support the trout?
So it's really important for steelhead to have the types of velocities when they're swimming against the current, the velocities that they can handle in order to swim effectively upstream. So this project is very important because it addresses those velocities in a flood control channel. It also creates and mimics natural stream morphology, which also means good depth for them, like 2 to 3 feet deep. It's not too shallow. And it has refuges so that they can rest and then continue on another sprint. It's very much a return to the river. So aligned with the river ecosystem restoration projects and the revitalization, this project is going to help people return to the river, view these amazing fish swimming upstream, and seeing habitat that looks so much more like a stream as opposed to just a concrete line slick channel.
So when can we expect more updates on this project?
This phase of the project is what we call planning and design and regulatory strategy. We will be done with this in 2021, so next year by December, if not sooner. And then implementation grants follow, and so we would then just keep on going to 100% design bid documents and into construction in a couple years.
So we're mostly asking folks to tune in right now, make sure that if they're interested in the project, they're signing up to newsletters, social media accounts, to continue following for more developments to come in 2021. Well, speaking on behalf of Folar, we're really excited about the project and that we're a partner on it. We plan to keep getting information out there for our fish friends. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks again, Wendy, so much for talking with me and making some time to meet with me about the Fish Passage.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
This is just the kind of forward-thinking project that is so central to reimagining our relationship to nature and the watershed to support instead of neglect wildlife habitat. We look forward to working with Wendy and all of our partners on the Fish Passage, and we'll be sure to bring you updates as they're available. When Congressman Jimmy Gomez was elected via special election in 2017, he immediately convened a meeting with all the stakeholders of the LA River, nonprofits like FOLAR, as well as government agencies. This was a potent signal that Congressman Gomez prioritizes the river as he represents us in Washington, D.C., and earned him river champ status in our books. Congressman Gomez was kind enough to take a few minutes to answer a few questions over Zoom about his love of birding, the river, and his priorities for it. So I just wanted to welcome you, river champ and representative of California's 34th Congressional District, onto the River Report.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
You're a birder, maybe I would hazard to say one of the biggest birders. And I just wanted maybe for you to share to our audience how that became an interest of yours.
You know, birding is something that, you know, everybody's always fascinated by birds, number one. But I went on I watched a movie, I think it was called The Big Year. It was about birders and people counting birds. And I found that it was fascinating because there's this whole subculture underneath it. So I got it. That's how I started getting into it. And then in order to connect my constituents with nature, I started doing these walks with the Audubon Society, just on bird watching and looking at the blue heron along the river was pretty cool when I did that walk. Cooper's hawk, so the scrub jay, stuff like that was pretty cool. But it was really just as a interest from that one movie that got me kind of interested in it. But it was when I go on a walk, I try to pay attention to the birds around me and nature and just enjoy myself.
When you first took federal office, you convened as many stakeholders as you could around the LA River at the River Center. And that was a really powerful statement. So I want to thank you for that and ask you, why was that an important step for you early on?
One of the things that I know is that the river doesn't belong to one single group or one community. It belongs to everybody. And the best way to make those kind of decisions is by bringing everybody into the fold and having them participate. So I wanted to send a message that the river was a priority for me in Sacramento, and it's a priority for me now.
That's great. And then what maybe can you additionally share about what it means to prioritize the river?
Well, one of the things that we've been trying to do is get the funding for the LA restoration project. We've got some money in the last year regarding the design phase of the project, but we still need a lot more money. And then hopefully, if we have a change of administration that prioritize river restoration, that we'll be able to get even more resources.
It was just 3 years ago, which is honestly, in the scale of restoration projects, a very short window of time, that the city acquired the G2 parcel. Just earlier this year, the 100-acre vision is kind of coalesced around some agencies. I just wanted to invite you to share what your vision of the Middle River and the river in your district will be.
I think that I want to see a river that really brings the community together, that it's can be utilized from everything from a running trail to a bike trail to fishing and kayaking, but it's also that it connects the parks that align the river to one fluid, linear park. And that maybe one day you can ride all the way from downtown LA through the cornfields over to the river, up to not only up to Griffith Park, but back and all the way down to Long Beach. That would be an amazing experience.
You're proving why you are a river champ right here.
Yeah, thank you.
Mars, yeah. We're facing even steeper challenges now, given the pandemic, given the need for economic recovery, than when the Green New Deal was initially introduced in 2019, the before times. So I wanted to kind of allow for you to speak towards how some of this environmental spending and investment will actually have additional impacts of positivity towards our communities and societies, given these additional challenges.
In order to hit our climate change goals, not only do we have to get more electric vehicles on the road, weatherize people's homes, transition to a clean energy economy, but also rivers help sequester greenhouse gas emissions. So when we restore a riparian corridor, it's not just a place for people to recreate. It's actually brings balance back into the environment, and then also helps combat climate change by sequestering more greenhouse gases. And that's the idea.
So I wanted to give you a chance to speak directly to our audiences about the importance of voting and why it's important to stay involved.
Right now, we're playing a lot of defense in this administration. We're just trying to protect the environmental policies that were set up by Obama. If we continue that route, we're always going to be playing defense, and we're not going to actually promote a more progressive, green, equitable future, right? So we want to go on the offense. So, and that's how people want, if they want to know what's going to happen, we're more likely to get more resources for the river if we have a bigger say, right? And that's kind of what we want. We want people to vote in order to have a bigger say so we can get those resources.
Thank you so much for being here with us. This has been a great pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
If you've enjoyed our program and want to see more river-themed videos, we're asking for your support. Support FOLAR by donating at folar.org/donate now, or join us later this week on Friday, October 23rd, when we host our annual Noche del Rio Gala. Our gala will be online for a paid ticketed audience and will feature creative cameos from local artists and FOLAR staff. Premium ticket holders will enjoy a gift box filled with FOLAR goodies delivered to their door to enjoy during the program, while at only $10, general admission ticket holders will receive our digital swag bag. Noche del Rio is a great chance to support FOLAR and our work. Learn more and buy your tickets online at folar.org/Noche del Rio. Well, that's it for me. I'm fresh out of fish puns. Tune in on Thursday evening for our next edition of River Trivia. Our teammate and resident puzzle master, Marissa Bates, will be leading you through some live trivia, twists and turns to test your river knowledge. Fret not, if you've been watching Return to the River, you know precisely what will be on the quiz. Prizes and bragging rights will be on the line. This has been Michael Atkins with your River Report for October 17th. The Riverlution will be televised. Bye for now.